Hi, Shadi. I'm about to join. Welcome everyone to the fourth day of our virtual career fair 2021. Students, we are so happy that you are able to join us this evening, and we have a power-packed schedule for you today. All right, so we hope you all are excited. We hope your typing fingers are ready so that you can post your questions. Now on your screen, you will be seeing some numbers. These are the WhatsApp numbers that you will use, as you know, to send in any questions that you may have. You can also post your questions right on YouTube. And once we see them, we will be able to ask them on your behalf. All right. So what I want us to also go over today, as usual, are our netiquette rules. So we are encouraging you all to please be respectful online. Please remember that you have to keep in mind the feelings and opinions of others, even if they differ from your own. Persons may have a different career interests or so, and that's okay. So if you would not say it to someone's face, do not say it online either. Also, do not post or share inappropriate material, even privately, because as you know, nothing is truly private online. Remember, when you are sending your questions and you are typing, please use concise and clear language. Try to avoid the slang terms, all right? Because not everyone would understand the slangs that you may use. Also, personal information of other persons and yourself. Avoid the use of humor and sarcasm. Participate wisely. This is your opportunity. This is the chance that you have to find out as much information as you can. All right. So take the opportunity and ask your questions. So once again, we are so happy that you have journeyed with us throughout this week. And I would like to introduce now our panel. We have the Tobago Hospitality Institute, and they are so gracious that they came and they are willing to share some great information. So today we have with us Miss Sophia Bulhan. She's the marketing manager. All right. We also have Miss Shadi Lewis. She's a marketing officer at the school. We have Miss Bernadine Thomas McCain, Dean of Students, and we also have Miss Joanna Watke, the Dean of Academic Services. So you all know that you're going to get some good information today. So thank you for joining us, and the floor is now yours.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone, from all of us at THTI. My name is Shadi Lewis, and I will be your host today. Firstly, we'll start with a video. This video will just give you a brief introduction into THTI. This video will also include two lecturers who will highlight their journey for you. They will talk about some of their struggles, some of their most rewarding moments. So now we will stream that video for you now.
Hey guys, I'm Hans Defentala from Kessiban. I just want to welcome all you guys to the hospitality and tourism industry. This is an exciting industry that will require your brilliant young minds to take it to the next level. Remember, always put your all and practice excellence in everything that you do. Take the time to learn from each other, but also from the people who have come before you in this industry. Great success is always born of many failures. So take lessons from all that came before you, both their successes and their failures, and use it to transform Trinidad and Tobago's tourism and hospitality industry into the world-class product that it can be. Welcome to the industry.
You learn a lot about culture and places when it is you're interested in food. When I came out of school, I was involved in Rotaract. And through Rotaract, I interacted with a lot of islanders, and I was always just enamored with how patriotic they were. And I felt as a Tobagonian, we really didn't have people advocating and showing that love when it is we go. Yes, we love Tobago, but Tobago always kind of got overshadowed by Trinidad. Woo, that's a tough one. Most memorable. I guess it's a reinforcement of my purpose. Yeah, all of my positive or memorable moments were moments that really helped to crystallize and I guess reinforce that it's worth the stress. So if I had to really drill down to one, when we won the Destination Award, and people trivialize it, but it took a lot of work for us to get there. And I felt so validated. It was very surreal going through the process. I won't lie, because, you know, we went up against destinations like Australia and New Zealand. I remember when I was in university, Australia had an amazing campaign. As I said, you're sitting with world leaders in tourism. I would say be a constant learner. We've enjoyed success by doing certain things, and sometimes we like to stay with that strategy all the time. You know, people talk about, oh, Tobago was doing so well in 2005. We're not in 2005, right? So the things we did back then, they may not work now. So you really have to be in a constant, I guess, state of learning and trying new things, and I guess taking risks. So in a nutshell, yeah, just have a thirst for knowledge, and not just knowledge like book, you know, knowledge in terms of connecting with people, because I learn a lot by going and talk to the villagers in Castara, you know, being with people on the ground. So the different facets or different means of learning. So yes, there are industry practices and best practices, but you know, you need to learn from the people who are on the ground, on the front line, what is happening, because you can get disconnected from the reality of what the destination is facing. So you kind of need to keep yourself grounded.
When I was younger, I always used to make macaroni and cheese, and I used to experiment with that as well, you know, put different ingredients inside of it to see how the flavor changes. There was a day my mom went to the grocery and she saw a chef in the grocery, and she walked up to him and she started a conversation with him. And she told him, you know, my son, he really loves food and he wants to be a chef. So he was like, okay, well, tell him to come down to the hotel tomorrow. This was Blue Haven Hotel. So, you know, she came home all excited and she was like, hey, you know, I met a chef. I told him that you want to be a chef. So instead of sitting down home doing nothing, he said to come to the hotel tomorrow for a job. So I was like, all right, cool. That sounds good, you know. I'll get to expand on my macaroni and cheese knowledge, you know. I will get an idea of new ingredients to put in my mac and cheese. So I was like, yeah, all right, let me go. There are so much memorable moments that I could mention. I was the captain of the culinary team, and we won the collegiate DECA competition. It's an international competition with different cooking schools all around the world, and we won 2 years in a row. To this day, we are the only team, right, coming out of Johnson and Wales, in every Johnson and Wales campus that has ever done that 2 years in a row. So we still hold the record, we still hold the title for that. And our picture is actually in the school in a glass case in the campus. So it's so that aspect. Then this journey has afforded me the opportunity to cook for a lot of celebrities, you know. So I've cooked for, and this is from my personal chefing business, I've cooked for Ludacris, Fantasia, Neo, Anthony Hamilton, Taurus Riley, Congens, Marshall. I actually used to be the personal chef while I was living in Florida for a guy called Elvis Dumerville. He was actually, he used to play football, American football, for the Baltimore Ravens. So could go there. I've cooked for millionaires and billionaires. In terms of challenging moments, I had so many challenging moments on this journey that I am still on. Could go back once again to Johnson and Wales in terms of, you know, me going to school, the exchange rate coming from Trinidad and Tobago, you know, the exchange rate to the US dollar 6-1. And, you know, my mom was already paying my tuition, so I told her not to send any money for me. So besides with my school work and in all these clubs, I was the vice president of the Caribbean Students Association. I was in charge of the ACF in school as the American Chef Association. I was in another group called Men of Distinction. So besides juggling all these extracurricular activities, plus for school, I had to work under the table to have money to live. So, you know, that was really challenging. There were days that I was down to like dollars, like literally dollars. I have $2-3 in my name, and, you know, I had to find a way to survive. But I used to, you know, say my prayers and whatever, and something always used to come along. Somebody always used to come with a job, and I don't know, like it just always worked out.
So now we will have the members of the team introduce themselves more in depth. I know Ms. Mendoza introduced them by just saying the name and their position, but I want it to be a little bit more in depth. So we'll start with Ms. Watke, then we'll have Ms. McCain, then Safia, then I will introduce myself. So Ms. Watke.
Good afternoon. I am Joanna Moses Votke. I am the Dean of Academics. I am also a proud student from THTI. I am from Tobago. I am from the beautiful village of Argyle. Most people will know it for the Argyle waterfall. So my journey started with a tourism destination. It continued being a student at THTI, and then I moved on and developed within the industry with my bachelor's in hospitality management, master's in tourism development and management, and engaging in tourism projects all over the world, all over the Caribbean, and coming right back to Tobago as the Dean of Academics. So I just want to say welcome. I am here to answer any questions that you have relating to the type of programs, the courses that are involved in each program, what it requires for you to enter, and what the journey looks like all the way through your internship experience, which a lot of our students look forward to. So welcome, thank you for having me, and I look forward to the Q&A segment.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am Bernadine Thomas McCain, and I'm the Dean of Student Services. Our job in the Student Services Department is to guide the students in any student-related issue from the beginning to the end. So in our office, we will deal with your application, with your registration, we work with academic department to advise you on what's best for you. And we always have your best interest at heart. And our joy comes from seeing the students start from day one and going right through to the end to being successful graduates. So we look forward to dealing with you at some stage. And welcome to our presentation. And like Ms. Votke, I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, and my name is Safia Bolham, and I am the manager for marketing and communications. So I have overall responsibility for all our marketing channels, the website, our social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, on YouTube, as well as Twitter. So those are my areas. So anytime you want to connect with us or stay abreast of what you do or what the school is offering, or have a really good idea what life is like at THTI, please look us up on those channels. And I'm very excited to be here today. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. Well, I briefly introduced myself, but I just want to give a little bit more in depth. So my name is Shadi Lewis. I am a marketing officer at THTI, but I just recently completed my associate degree in tourism study at THTI. I started THTI in August 2017, so I am a former student. So that's just giving you a brief description of me. Just to give you a little bit more knowledge about THTI, the programs provided, and also some of the career opportunities. We created a few slides. So now we will forward and move on to those slides.
Okay, so we have 4 associate degree programs at the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute. We have a degree in tourism studies, hospitality studies, culinary arts, and food and beverage operations. So I'll just give a quick overview for those of you who may not be as familiar for some of these areas. But the tourism is a global industry with a lot of opportunities. In fact, the combined tourism and hospitality industry is one of the largest employers across the world. So your involvement in the tourism will expose you to a lot of areas that will help you to gain knowledge, particularly around the travel industry, different destinations, and you will gain knowledge around sales, advertising, marketing in the areas of tourism and hospitality. Through this program, you will develop skills in research, in how to develop products and how to promote those for specific destinations, localities, and regions. And I really want to stress that these skills are very transferable. You may start with an associate degree and specialize in any one of these areas and take it and combine it with other specializations as well. Some of the careers that you could pursue with a degree in tourism are marketing executive, a tourism product manager. You can also be a research analyst or a travel writer or a blogger. You can also look into food science and how to market that within the industry, as well as online marketing and content creators. There's a lot of content now online around travel and tourism, and this is a good opportunity for you with this degree. The hospitality degree will open your world into the vast areas of hotel, resorts, cruise ships, airlines, restaurants, the entire tourism industry, and all the other service sectors that serve these industries. You will gain knowledge on the daily operations of hotels and restaurants, and you will build a lot of skills, including bilingual skills, in order to communicate with people coming from various destinations. So what are some of the careers you can look forward to in terms of the hospitality industry? You could choose to become an event manager. You could be in the business of sales and marketing. You could manage a hotel. You could be a food and beverage manager, either within the hotel or the larger or restaurants or the larger food sector. And there's also a lot of technology that is being developed to support the hospitality industry, especially now with COVID. There are technologies, for example, to do automated check-ins, just to give you as an example. But there are vast developments happening in the technology world that you can use your hospitality knowledge to combine that and create great opportunities for yourself. Culinary arts, if you have a passion or interest in food, you can definitely turn this into a great career for yourself. At THTI, you'll be trained to gain practical experience on how to operate in a professional kitchen. You develop important skills, not just in cooking, but in problem solving and critical thinking, and that will build your entrepreneurial skills. In terms of careers, you could choose to go with traditional careers, like become an executive chef. You could also be a writer, a food writer, and you could use that knowledge definitely online, on social media, etc., which are all high in demand. You can also become a restaurant owner or a kitchen manager, and there are also other creative careers such as food stylists. And more traditional ones like being a dietary manager in any sector. We all need food, so any area that touches food is an opportunity for you. The Food and Beverage Associate Degree is a program designed to develop highly marketable skills in the food and beverage industry. And that is a massive industry. If you just think about what we consume every day, from what you buy in the supermarket to your finished cooked product, that gives you an idea how big this industry is. So this degree will give you good knowledge for managing efficient operations within the food and beverage industry. And it will teach you skills on how to lead teams and the larger beverage sector as well. What are some of the careers you can look forward to? You could be a food and beverage cost controller, a restaurant manager, a sports nutritionist. You could also be a bartender, an event coordinator, or a food photographer. And this is just the beginning. There are many, many ways that you could use the skills that you learn and the education that you gain. Okay.
Thank you, Sophia. I'm sure a lot of you guys have learned a lot just by that slide, a lot more information about the program, some of the career opportunities, also the nutritional chef, and also a lot of the careers in the tourism industry also. So now we will move on to have two student testimonials. Both of these students are tourism culinary arts students. And now we will stream that video.
Sorry. My apologies. Just give me a second there so I can find the right screen. Okay, so I will share the screen now. Just get back to the screen share. Can everybody see my screen?
Not seeing it as yet.
Okay, I'm trying to get back to the call. And so my apologies, just my Zoom has frozen. So I'm trying to
by the time that Sophia is figuring out everything and trying to fix the video, we will now move on to the Q&A section. So if anyone has any questions, they could ask right now.
Okay, I think I have managed to find my way back. So let me try this again. I'm going to share my screen now. And I'll play the video.
My name is Joy Ali, and I'm studying the Culinary Arts Associate's degree. To be very honest, learning here every day is a wow experience. I do baking a lot, especially at home, I sometimes would share out to a lot of people that I know, and I like seeing that what I learn makes other people happy. They do not know that guava is the best thing to put when you're making chicken, honestly. I would like to use what I learn here and go abroad and study more, but definitely come back into Trinidad and Tobago and show people what it is I know over in restaurants or some sort. I love pastas. I love Italian cuisine. I also do here a little bit about sushi. We do a lot of things actually. We did a 7-pot stew here from a different country for international cuisine. That was one of the best I've ever tasted. To be a head chef is one of the goals that we're looking towards. Here, especially in this field, there's so many opportunities because you don't need to just do culinary arts, because you can do food and beverage as well. And that's a lot of branches and opportunities. Everybody needs to eat. Everybody needs to consume something or to go about their day. That it in itself is an opportunity, even if you don't want to open your own business. There will always be a job in culinary arts. I made not only to please other people, but to please myself as well. That if I am eating it, I need to be happy when I'm eating it. I like to experiment a lot with different substitutions for myself because I am Muslim. I cannot eat pork, I can't use gelatin, so I try to use a lot of vegan and vegetarian substitutions. As well as my mother, she's gluten-free. She cannot have any gluten. So trying to make a pastry for her is definitely a difficulty.
Put everything in a box and choose something that makes you happy. Options that you know that in the future, when you're doing it, it makes you smile and you don't feel tired when you come home from work. That when you come home from work, you feel satisfied for what you did, during the day at least. The lectures here are more relaxed, definitely. It's a more calm environment than the very busy one that was in Trinidad. The best part is the environment, honestly. If you like quiet places and you like very calm environments, and it's a more interactive environment for you as a student, rather than, I mean, sometimes it could be a bit busy. It's a bit hard to have dinners up here as well. That's one of the kind of bad things here, but other than that, it's great. I usually do diving. That's one of the things I do, and going to the beach is the best thing to do here. I was offered the opportunity when I finished studying in Trinidad to come up here immediately. So everything was just put in place for me, but honestly, it was the best decision I made, for at least me financial-wise as well.
My name is Nishon Malchan and I attended St. Augustine Secondary High School. Ever since I was very young, I had a passion for cooking, and I want to make sure that that dream is reached at international level. And at first I attended THTI, but there was a lot of trouble going on there, financial-wise and everything with the school going on. So my parents and I, we made sure that my dream would be accomplished any means necessary in a financial situation good for me. For my parents and I to achieve my dream any means necessary, we searched and we found out that they had a THTI over here, and their prices were very reasonable, and given the courses that I just had to complete, it would be very easy for me to complete it with the classes that they offer. I'm doing my culinary management degree, associates, and I have like a year again to complete. I want to be able to go on from the associates to the bachelor's, and I intend to do that abroad, that part abroad. But right now the school here is giving me the foundation to carry on to the bachelor's. In the next 5-6 years from now, I see myself completing schoolwork and getting myself prepared to learn the restaurant industry, in a sense that I want to accumulate a certain amount of experience working wise, so eventually I could open my own restaurants, because opening a restaurant is very hard, and studies show that it's very easy to open a restaurant and very fast, very hard for it to, for it to close, in a sense that as it open, it could close one time if you don't have the experience to run it. So when I get the experience from working with different people, it will just come naturally. My family very adverse in cooking. If it's not a gathering or a family event, everybody cooking, and I ain't boasting, but my family could hold their hand in our cooking. They could cook real good. So just being around that, and also the fact that when you cook something good for somebody, you like to see the smile on their face when they taste good food. So that is one of the second things for me. And the third thing is that I'm a person, I can't just work in any place. I have to do something that I really like. And one thing my grandfather always taught me is that you mustn't develop a job, you must develop a career. So you have to work towards a career, not a job. Because a lot of people work in jobs that they don't like just to make money. But if you work towards a career that you can make money from, that will be easy. Surround yourself with people who will be supportive of your actions and your dreams. So once you have people in your circle who support it, everything will go through. Be practical in your decision making, because yes, the opportunity may be easy, it may be nice, financial wise, everything, but given all that to individuals, you have to have a passion for what you're doing. So if you're not sure in what you're doing and you just want to go because the opportunity is there, then you'll be squandering your own self, opportunity wise, because it have a lot of people who came here because the opportunity was nice, but it wasn't their field. So it has stress to come with it. So if it's not something for you, then I suggest you find something for you. But the school has a lot of different things that they can offer you. You just need to sit down, be practical about what it is you want to make yourself into in the next 5-6 years, and you push towards that. It's one thing that a lot of people need to know before they come into the Culinary Institute is that it's very demanding. So I'm not saying that you have to have a lot of free time, but working in the kitchen or in the culinary industry on a whole, it's very hard. And I've seen a lot of people before we even graduated dropped out because of the stress. And I'm a person, I know I can handle that stress, but it all depends on you. You need to be able to handle that stress. And that is something you have to put your mind to. You have to have a mindset before you come into the kitchen or the hotel to work in the front of the house. And not just as a chef, even the barman, the hostess, the host, all of them have a lot of demanding work for them cut out. So that's something you have to prepare yourself for.
Okay, thank you, Sophia. Now we will move on to the Q&A section. So we take some questions. The first question is, how long is the degree program to become a chef?
The program is 2 years. If you're doing it full time, it's 2 years. And if you're doing it part time, it's 3 years. So you have 5 semesters of coursework, and your final semester is your internship semester.
Where is the institute located? We are located in Fleming, Mount St. George. That is about a 15 to 20-minute drive from Scarborough, which is the capital of Tobago. How many schools does it have? Well, it's just one institute. We have a lot of different degree programs. So we have culinary arts, tourism, food and beverage, hospitality. So it's not different schools. It's just different degree programs. So I am a tourism student, and Joy and Nishon, who were talking previously, they are culinary arts students. So what is the course?
Joanna, maybe you could take that and just talk briefly about the courses.
I think the cost or the course?
Was it cost or courses?
I think
course. Yeah.
Okay, cost. Our costs are posted on our website at based on the degree program that you choose at THTI.edu.tt. And a 2-year associate degree program, depending on the program, will range somewhere between 25,000 and 30,000 in terms of tuition to complete the entire program.
I just want to go back to the question sent to Mrs. McCain regarding how long does it take to become a chef. So to become a chef, which requires a lot of experience and understanding of the culinary world, both local and international, would require one, the technical foundation, which is coming to THTI and understanding the technical concepts of culinary, of menu planning, of production, and then it would require extensive experience. So that's why internship is an important element in your studies. But the experience after that is very important in you attaining the title as a chef. There are many kinds of chefs. Of course, there are chefs for baking, chefs for meats, chefs for fishes, salads, soups, and so on. Then you become an executive chef, which is the top chef, and that takes you years of experience and understanding culinary cuisines from all over the world. But it's important that you attain your foundation, which is an associate degree at the Hospitality and Tourism Institute in Tobago. And in terms of courses, some of the courses, for example, in the Culinary Arts program are food preparation level 1, 2, and 3, baking technology level 1 and 2, international cuisine, and food art. And that's where you learn how to create beautiful artistic depiction of almost anything using food. For the food and beverage operations associate degree program, some of the courses are food and beverage service, food and beverage management, bar operations, purchasing and materials management. At the end of it, you will be able to manage, run, supervise, manage, run any food and beverage establishment from a bistro to a full restaurant. And again, experience is highly recommended. In terms of hospitality studies, some of the courses are accommodations. That's where you learn about the different accommodations and managing those accommodation type establishments, level 1 and level 2. You learn about quality customer care, you learn about front office, and in the tourism studies, you learn the holistic picture of tourism and the hospitality industry. So you learn about tourism planning, you learn about the business of the tourism and hospitality sector, you learn about resort development, and you learn about sustainable tourism development. So it's quite encompassing.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Watke. I've seen a lot of persons on the chat talking about the course of the degree program. I just want to tell everyone that the program is gate funding as well. So I hear everybody saying they're the window lotto and all those things. So the program is gate funded. So I am one of the students who was gate funded. I am a tourism degree student. So Ms. Watke or Ms. McKeon, can we talk more, just a little information about gate funding and THTI? Just a brief.
Yeah, so the program is gate funded. The program is gate funded for our old fees. So I don't want to conflate the two. We are working on getting gate funding for the entire cost of the program, but that has not been, that has not been completed as yet. So yes, it's gate funded, but it's gate funded for a part of the fee. And we also have payment plans for the students. So if you're unable to pay all the funds every semester, you'll have to make a down payment of 25% of the fee for that semester, and you are given the rest of the semester to pay off the remaining fees. So don't be put off by the fee, don't be put off by the fees.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. McCain. I would just like to say thank you for everyone for participating in this virtual presentation. And all of you are leaving with a lot more knowledge about THTI and the programs provided. So hopefully this has encouraged a lot. I know this has encouraged a lot of you to register and become THTI students. But just on behalf of the entire team, I just want to say thank you for your time and your attention. And you can keep up with us on our social media and our website, which is www.thti.edu. And our Instagram is, Sophia, I could put this slide. Instagram is at...
Sorry, shared the wrong slide.
Our Instagram is at THTI_Tobago. And you could view our Facebook page at Real Tobago, capital T, THTI, capital letters. So thank you so much for listening to our presentation. And yeah.
Thank you very, very much to the THTI team. So on behalf of the students, staff, and student support services of the Victoria Education District, we would like to say a hearty thank you to all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to come online today and share this wonderful information. I'm sure it piqued some students' interest, the interviews and everything. That was really, really good. So thank you all so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Most welcome. All right, great. So students, we're going really good so far. So at this point, what we're going to do, we're going to take a 5-minute break. So refresh yourselves, get a drink, go to the washroom, and come back on so that we can continue our presentations for this evening. All right, thank you. So we're back at it, students. I hope that you are ready to go once again. For our second session this evening, we have Mr. Sean Robinson, and he is representing the Tobago Dive Experience. So Mr. Robinson is going to share some really cool, interesting information with you. Remember, use the WhatsApp numbers and use YouTube to send in your questions. So thank you for joining us, Mr. Robinson.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And well, greetings from Tobago to all you buddy and youngsters out there. I like to challenge the younger people in my country that I actually believe that we live in a desert. Now, why I say that I think we live in a desert, because at last check, Trinidad and Tobago are two islands surrounded by water. And what is amazing is that we have a huge offshore industry where the majority of our oil and gas comes from, which is the offshore area, especially of the east and north coast of Trinidad. And we have created thousands of jobs offshore, but the main beneficiaries of these jobs tend to be foreign expats. So it kind of amazes me that here we have our oil and gas industry, and our youngsters, our children, are not being driven towards participating in this industry. Now, what I mean by that, for example, I am a diving instructor, and I'm also a retired commercial diver. And I spent 20 plus years working in Trinidad and around the world, majority of it around the world, working on the offshore industry, on platforms and ships and stuff. And it is very sad and disheartening for me that all these years later, when we put together a job for BP or Atlantic LNG over here, still the majority of the divers that we have to hire, we have to bring in from foreign. This is absolutely insane. So that is one area. So start to think, youngsters and young ladies, about a career in the diving industry. Another area that I look at very closely is the whole aspect of the becoming captains in the marine industry. Again, we have many ships that work here that run the offshore supply vessels. Nearly every one of those vessels, without exception, all the senior crew on board these vessels are all foreigners. Sometimes I keep saying maybe we live in a desert where the skills of learning to swim, learning to handle boats and diving, it will not be necessary. So Tobago Dive Experience is the #1 dive institute in Trinidad. And a lot of what we do, we teach youngsters how to dive, opening up your eyes to the underwater world, and then opening up your eyes to the potential jobs that are out there in the marine industry. So these programs themselves, we actually run them in Trinidad. We actually run them at different schools in Trinidad on a demand basis. For example, we have been doing Naparima College for the last 12 years. We also do Naparima Girls, we do presentation down in the south, and many, many other schools scattered through Trinidad and Tobago. And over the last 10 years, I have seen where young people who have come through our programs and suddenly found a passion, and suddenly they are now aligning themselves to marine jobs. Example of this again is there's a great demand now for marine biologists. Now, marine biology covers a very wide area of study, included environmental sciences dealing with coastal erosion. But I'll give you one interesting one. And this comes from my own personal experience. My son is a marine biologist. And 3 of his friends did their masters in fish farming. Believe this, fish farming. And unbelievably, they were headhunted by big corporations who are investing billions of dollars now into fish farming. And their sign-on fee, or you want to call it their bribe to come and work for these companies, paid off their entire university bill. I defy anybody to find a profession in the world where somebody wanting to hire you to come to work that will actually pay off the entire education, university debt. So it is amazing once again. Just give you an example. We have many engineers in Trinidad. Everybody going to UE and becoming a civil engineer, which I like to refer to as a box drain engineer. And we are producing them by the thousands, and we have no jobs for them. But right now, I have to do a repair job on a jetty in Speyside that was recently damaged with some bad sea conditions. Believe it or not, we don't, if we have 2 marine engineers in Trinidad, we have plenty. And again, it proves my point that we live in a desert, because if you live in a desert, you will have no need for a marine engineer. But again, I am sure that we are still an island. So again, we do look at the whole marine industry, and there's so many jobs that one can get involved in. Now, one of the most common ones everybody asks me about, yes, underwater welding. Yes, there's a lot of potential there, a lot of money. But most marine jobs that are underwater, well, first thing, you have to become a diver. And then you apply your specialty skills towards whatever the job is specified underwater. We need underwater videographers, because we do a lot of inspection work and we have to film what we're doing. So if you like photography and you like camera work, the difference is for every 1,000 people who can use our camera above land, you're going to have 1 who could use it below water. So then you become very much high in demand. All right. We also look at the whole areas. I give you an example. You know, every time we have an oil spill in Trinidad, especially down in your south area where the oil comes from, what is very, very sad is every time we have a major oil spill, we have to bring foreign entities to come and clean up our spillages here in Trinidad. So with our oil industry that is over 100 years old, we still can manage most facets of that industry on our own. And we continue to depend on foreigners to come and fix our problems here in the marine world in Trinidad. You all have a wonderful university called UTT that have many great marine programs. And sadly, a lot of these programs are never filled because none of you all, when you all go through the process, and I understand because you all are not being guided there. I think each school, the teachers should take a day trip and take your kids down to UTT and take a look at all the potential marine careers that they are there now. I personally know at least 12 to 15 young men and women over the last couple of years who learned to dive with me and who were influenced and now have gone on to do their captain's license and the different navigational officer license, and now looking for, are now gainfully employed in the offshore and in the shipping industry. These jobs are not limited to Trinidad. That is the beauty. So even though the economy of Trinidad might be depressed, with your proper licensing, you have the potential to work around you. Remember, 71% of this planet is water. Most of all the goods and services that we use are shipped, right, of transport purposes. So shipping industry is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Then you look at this tourism, not even as a sport, but as an industry. Scuba diving is the #1 niche market for tourism in Tobago. During the peak, when tourism was in order in Tobago, we would move anywhere up to between 5,000 to 10,000 divers a year, coming from every corner of the globe to explore the world-class reefs that we have here in Tobago, especially in Speyside, Tobago. And what is sad is for every 10,000 foreigners coming in to explore our underwater reefs, I teach maybe 500 a year in Trinidad. So again, and then we need, in the industry, we have professional dive masters, diving instructors like myself, both captains are needed. And again, during the peak of the industry, I would say half the professionals working in Tobago go for it. My crew being the only, I'm the largest diver crew, and my crew being basically the only crew on this island that is 99% locals, because they all trade with our operation to become professionals. So as you go through the part of deciding what career that holds, all of you all now have access to the internet, access to information. Start to think about careers in the marine industry. I'll give you another quick example. A lot of youngsters want to become lawyers. We have all types of lawyers in Trinidad: criminal lawyers, divorce lawyers, real estate lawyers, and I could go on and on. But if I want to get a lawyer with maritime experience, so if we're dealing with treaties and stuff, dealing with marine related issues, I have to pick up the phone and call London. Say, London, send me a lawyer that has some marine experience. Again, as I keep telling you, I'm sure we live in a desert, because if in a desert, we wouldn't have no use for a marine lawyer. It may sound funny, right? But that is a fact. So as you travel along this line, you must take a look at even the simple jobs, guys, boys and girls. Fishing and becoming a commercial fisherman is big money if you know what you're doing and you do apprenticeship with good fishermen. Many years ago, hold 1 second, please. Right. Many years ago, 100 years ago, fish was called poor man's protein. Well, 100 years later, we have eaten out 90% of the wild stocks in the ocean. So to use poor man protein in the same sentence is almost like an oxymoron. And that is why areas of fish farming is now becoming such a lucrative area in the world. We in Trinidad actually pioneered tilapia farm, and that's why we actually have tilapia running wild in our rivers and in the swamp. And if you may know, tilapia is not native from here. It was brought in here, and the Institute of Marine Affairs did a research work on how to farm them, and some by accident from floods got out into our rivers and streams. It is real sad now to this date. We never got the tilapia farming going in Trinidad. But now we import tilapia fillets. So when you go to the supermarket and you go in Price Mart, we are now buying fish that is being farmed in foreign. Because again, Maybe we do live in a desert where there's no water, right? And it is so sad. So now we pioneered it, and all the brain and the technology we had here, we exported it. And a lot of Trinidadians worldwide are actually leading tilapia farm and farming projects. So again, open your eyes, especially underwater. Take a chance, come and learn to dive, come and learn about the underwater world. And I am sure that you all will enjoy it. We actually start teaching and certifying kids from the age of 10. And in my organization, we teach you from step 1, learning to dive, all the way up to becoming professional dive masters and instructors. And we certify you under the largest diving umbrella of the world, which is called PADI, P-A-D-I, which stands for the Professional Association of Diving Instructors. So we are very well known. We have been in the business now over 37 years. And what is very, very also strange for me is I have more students coming in to become professionals, coming from foreign, to come and spend a couple of months here in Tobago at very, very high cost, to come and do their training here. And I may see 4 to 6 of my young Trinidadians coming here to train, to become professionals. And some of these young ones who come here to train in the past, when the industry was busy, other dive shops were hired because they would need staff and they were here already. So again, I would like to reiterate, think about adding water to whatever career that you want to do, and you may find that you'll be greatly surprised. And a lot of the professions in the diving industry can take you around the world. When I was a commercial diver, I dived in every ocean. I probably dove in over 50 different countries because I worked with international companies, and wherever we had a problem, off I would go. So I don't want to keep you all too long. I want to leave some time here now for some questions. So it was really, really nice chatting with you all. If you'll need to get in touch with us in Trinidad, our contact person is Vidya Dowlat, and her number is 789-6538. Anybody looking or interested, as I said, in learning to dive. And our email is tobagodivexperience@gmail.com. Any one of your kids later on need to ask, feel free to give me a personal call, which is 688-5071. So if you want to discuss anything about marine careers in more detail, now we can do here in 45 minutes, feel free to call me. I do a lot of mentorship, so absolutely, you call me or ask your parents, not a problem. So at this point, I would like to say it was a pleasure chatting to you all, and let me see what questions you all have for me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Robinson. So a student is asking, what subjects would you recommend for persons looking to get into your field of work?
Well, getting into, it depends on what field. Now, if you're looking to get into marine biology, one of the key subjects would be chemistry. All your sciences are good, but the key one would be chemistry. If you're looking to get into the diving industry, like what I'm going on, you don't, a little basic background in physics. Storm kicking up here. A little background in physics and a little background in biology. But the beauty with diving it's a lot of more practical applications. And so you don't have to be no scholar to come and learn to dive, right? If you're good mechanically as well, that's a very good advantage to you when you come and learn to dive.
All right, excellent. Also, what is the cost to attend the diving school?
The training programs run approximately 3,800 for the first program, and that entails the classroom work, pool work, and then when we finish with that, then you come to Tobago for a weekend, and there's an additional cost for that, which that figure I don't have on my head right now. And then when you come here, you're gonna do 4 dives. And that gives you your first license, which is called your open water license.
Mr. Robinson, do you have to be able to swim first?
Actually, being able to swim is an asset. If you're not the strongest swimmer, not a problem, because a lot of times during our training programs, we also do a lot of remedial work and helping people to swim. All right, so once you have the will and you have the confidence, we'll see about the rest.
Also, can you say where you are located in Tobago?
All right, my main location is in Speyside, which is on the northeastern tip of Tobago. And just as for a note for the kids, the reason that our location is here and our dive shops are here, Speyside is one of the top 10 dive destinations in the world. And as well, it is definitely the #1 dive destination in the Caribbean. So it makes for easy access out onto some of the most spectacular diving that one could find anywhere.
Is there an age limit, Mr. Robinson, to become a diver?
The minimum age is 10. So 10, and to become a professional, you have to be 18. So what a lot of the youngsters who have come up through my academies in Trinidad, a lot of them started in the school programs, and there's many other training programs that you have to do before you get ready to enter the professional training field. So a lot of them do all these courses during their young teen years, and then when they turn 18, they come and start now to finish off their professional certifications, become dive masters and instructors.
A student wants to know what is the average salary of a marine biologist?
Oh, that varies greatly and depends where you are. I know, for example, my son, but he's based out of England, so his salary at his level would probably be about 80 to 100,000 pounds a year. It really all decide, which fields they are. I know some of my students who went on who are now the marine park managers in different marine parks in the Caribbean. Some of them making 5,000 US a month. It really varies. I'm not too sure about the salary structures at the Institute of Marine Affairs, but I would gather, depending on what you're doing, probably between 12, 15 to 30,000 a month, TT. So it is a wide field. So but it's a field that is becoming more and more in demand.
Does the salary of an underwater photographer vary as well?
Sorry?
Does the salary of an underwater photographer vary as well?
All right. That's a good question, because actually today I was asked that. A good underwater photographer. Now I want people to remember, it takes time for you to become a professional in this thing. But a good underwater photographer, videographer, probably wouldn't work for less than about 500 US. right? That's about the average salary. So if you're now breaking out, learning, you have your own equipment, I would say recently I had one local guy here who's now getting in, and I was paying him $2,000 at THTI. But again, he's now learning his trade.
All right. So students would like to know what made you follow this career path.
Oh, that's a good question. I had it probably. It really started with the fact that as a kid, my parents spent a lot of time in the sea, and when I was 7 years old, so to give away my age, that was 50 years old. Some friends taught me, you know, I used to watch them diving, and you know, and they gave me a little taste of it. And by the time I was 9 years old, when I was in primary school, I used to have to write these little essays about what you want to be when you get big. The only thing that I used to write about is I wanted to become a professional diver. So I actually became probably the first ever licensed commercial diver out of Trinidad. I am one of the pioneers of diving in Tobago. I set up the first professional dive shops in Tobago in 1988. And from no industry, at the peak of the industry, there were 17 dive shops on the island. So that gives you an idea of the demand that we have had over the years for diving and needed tourism underwater in Tobago.
Mr. Robinson, do you do any work with corals, like coral?
Oh yeah. We do quite a bit of work with especially my operation. We do a lot of work with different universities, both locally and internationally. So we have University of Florida, University of Miami, University of Glasgow, Plymouth in England, and there's a lot of research work that goes on because we have some of the healthiest reef and most spectacular reef left on planet Earth. So a lot of research work is going on here. We have another foundation that we are associated with, which is called ERIC, E-R-I-C, and they are based not too far from me in Charlottesville. And they are right now doing projects on coral, how to grow corals, how to replant corals. So that's another major field, because as time goes along and reefs have been destroyed, where we know how to replant forests, we are now learning how to do this underwater. And hence the science, that is why more and more investment is coming into these areas, because we are so far behind in our knowledge of how to successfully do these things. So yes, there's a lot of work we do with corals.
A student is asking if diving is a requirement to do underwater welding.
Well, tell you, young man, the question he just asked is underwater welding. Well, the only way you could weld underwater, young man, is to be a diver. Yes, you have to be a diver, and not just a diver, you have to be a commercial diver. So you have to have that training first. Now, just to give them an example, when you go and do a university degree, the average university degree is 3 to 4 years. If you want to become a commercial diver, you're looking at a 6-month training program, right? Versus 4 years sitting down at high school, and then when you come out, you hope you get a job, right? So yes, you have to train as a diver first, and then whilst you're training, you will also be taught, if you want, all the different underwater specialties where welding is also one.
So we have another question from a student. What subjects did your son have to pursue to become a marine biologist?
Well, my son, he did chem bio, he Lit Chem, Bio, Maths. Right? That was the three major. But he told me that out of all, the chemistry was the most useful of the three.
A student is asking, where in Trinidad can you go to learn to dive?
Well, if all they have to do is, as I said, we run the programs in Trinidad. Okay, so if you give the student the contact details, especially for video, and then we can set it up. So it depends where they live, because we run programs both in the south, up in the north, in the east. So they will be coordinated, they will be contacted when we are doing the programs. Now, until the COVID regulations are eased up, there's very little we can do. You know, with one other school, which is the new Oxford, the Oxford Academy, I'm doing their classroom work like we are doing right now online. But we have to wait still for pools and stuff to be open. So it will be a couple of months before any of these programs in general can be organized properly.
Okay, and the student wants to know how long the course would take, the entire course.
All right, the basic course basically runs, we do a couple of days in the classroom in Trinidad, and then we do a day in the pool, and then after that is we bring them to Tobago for a weekend. So it all depends on we stretch it out over a term or so. One of the reasons that I like to bring these students to Tobago versus diving in Trinidad, as you may know, the visibility, underwater visibility in Trinidad is very poor. Where in Tobago, you have blue water, and the experience for the kids is a huge wow factor when you see the beauty of the reefs and stuff and the marine life here in Speyside Tobago. Right? So Trinidad, for them now learning to dive, they don't see much. It's a little more nerve-wracking. But in Tobago, where they could see everything clearly all around them, it makes for a much better experience.
All right. So, Mr. Robinson, would you like once again to give your contact details for those students who would be interested?
Okay. All right, students. The easiest contact in Trinidad for our coordinator of the academy is Vidya Dowlat, and her telephone number is 789-6538. If you all want, and she does all the coordinations, by the way, with all the schools down there. So she'll be the best one to speak to. If they want to discuss any more career activities, then let them call me directly, which is 688-5071. And if they want to email me and discuss careers, that is Sean, SEAN, .Robinson, ROBINSON, the number 6363 at me.com, me.com. And you can also email us on Tobago Dive Experience at gmail.com. All one word.
All right, that's really good information. We have some students who are saying they really enjoyed your presentation. So thank you so much, Mr. Robinson, for coming and sharing today. On behalf of the Student Support Services Division, Victoria Education District, all our staff, all our students, we say hearty thank you to you for taking time out today to attend our virtual career fair. Thank you, Mr. Robinson.
It was a pleasure, and I hope next year once again, when we're doing this, I could be there in person to chat with the kids.
Really good. Thank you.
So everybody stay safe and see you all soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
All
bye.
right. Okay, so students, we're going well so far this evening. Please take a break for about 5 minutes or so and come back in a little bit for us to continue our sessions for this evening. All right.
Okay, so welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to information pack sessions already, both from Tobago, one from Tobago Hospitality Institute and the other from Tobago Dive Experience. With us now online, we have Miss Ayana David, and she's from the National Energy Skills Center, or NESC. So this afternoon, we welcome Ms. David as she comes to share some interesting information with you about what NESC has to offer. So Ms. David, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon all, and thank you. To begin with, I'll be sharing one of our corporate videos for the students to take a view.
Go ahead.
Okay. You all seen the video?
Not yet.
Okay. Are you all seeing it?
Contribute to developing Trinidad and Tobago.
No, but we are hearing it. We are hearing it, not seeing it.
Okay. This, okay, just one. Right. Okay, so you're supposed to be seeing it now.
Training and a powerful force. Industry relevant and performance ready. Ready and equipped.
We're not seeing it as yet. We're still
No,
hearing.
we're not seeing it.
From its campus at Point Fortin to 11 nationwide. The vision of the National Energy Skills Center is to be the premier technical training provider
we're seeing it now.
in the development of a competent, innovative, and entrepreneurial workforce by transforming human capital through the application of advanced experiential methodologies. Diversified to meet the growing needs of the energy-related, construction, and industrial sectors, the NESC develops a competent human resource pool certified with practical, industry-aligned, and relevant training. Students enter the NESC seeking sound, accredited, tertiary and technical vocational education and training to improve their quality of life.
The first aspect of the course is safety. So that's the first thing that you will put you in the studies is safety is the number one priority.
Graduates leave with quality certification, opening doors to a myriad of career and further training options, both locally and abroad. Graduates enjoy lucrative careers in every sector of the economy and are recognized as assets by their employers.
We have recruited 80% of our workforce in technical areas coming to the NESC program. We have 4 master technicians trained by our principals who all teach the NESC program.
You know, as an employer, we're always challenged, particularly for technical staff. NESC has been doing significant programs in key areas that are aligned with our brands.
The NESC's activities are driven by the needs of the industries it serves, a relationship embodied in a unique and powerful symbol T to the power of I.
We have a strategic retreat, and it was a great opportunity for us to relook who we are, who do we want to become. And I challenge the team for us to make this one statement. What is our value proposition? What are we in business for? What do we do? And coming out of that retreat, we developed this logo that has T to the power of I. I think it was wonderful. It was a statement, and trainings powered by industry. That's what we in business to be. So we wanted to make sure that we were very, very focused. We understood what our objectives were, and we wanted to produce a type of training that industry would be very happy about.
As the needs of industry evolve, so too does the training and certification available to students of the NESC. Whereas previously, industry needs allowed for certificate level graduates to be employed as operators across a wide range of industries. Today, the skill set required for these jobs have become enriched with the use of newer and constantly emerging technologies. In response, the NESC has now positioned students to be trained to diploma certification level, bringing their work readiness to the expectations of a constantly evolving industry. The NESC has instituted a three-tiered approach to training, with fundamentals programs, craftsman's programs, and diploma programs in a range of occupational areas, including drilling operations, plant operations and maintenance, welding and fabrication, automotive and heavy equipment, and building construction and maintenance. The restructuring of the NESC suite of programs was spearheaded by an academic advisory council, which includes experts from various sectors of the energy and energy-related industries. This council, along with the Curriculum Review Committee, forms an integral link between NESC's programs and industry best practices and brings expert insights into the program's design and curriculum development. The flagship suite of programs is NESC's diploma programs, with curricula aligned to that of Red Deer College of Alberta, Canada. Students undergo 2 years or 6 trimesters of learning and practical apprenticeship under the guidance of an experienced and qualified faculty. Upon successful completion, they receive the NESC diploma. The graduate then starts a journey in the industry towards accumulating 1,640 hours or 1 year of experience before qualifying for the NESC Journeyman and the Red Deer Trades Professional Certificate. As students follow the pathway of training towards certification, the ability to demonstrate skills, maintain professionalism, and learn new methods and techniques is fostered as in the workplace. These abilities are equally as important as understanding the fundamentals of safe and efficient equipment operation and maintaining a consistent quality of work.
Well, when you're certified, you're able to put your signature as a rig mechanic or something, and not just a normal person walking around. You're a mechanic. You could be able to provide for your family better. You'll take care of job in the industry. So when you're certified, you're much better.
One of the unique Journeyman program offerings is the Diploma Drilling Rig Operations, offered at the NESC's Drilling Academy, the first institution of its kind in the Caribbean, Central and South America.
NESC has been very important to the industry over the last decade or so, on providing skilled technicians and craft workers for the industry. If you go back in the 60s and 70s, a lot of the tools were provided by the industry itself, and then the industry stopped doing that in the 80s. And NESC has really filled in the gap to provide those skilled people for the industry. So that's a very important role. During the time when the industry was growing so strongly in the 90s and the 2000s, NESC was very important to that. This role is changing now because industry is no longer growing as much, but the student need for new skills, and particularly in drilling areas. There's going to be a big demand for drilling. And when we get through this low price period, there'll be a big demand again for drilling. So I think the NESC has a very important role to play in all those sectors, particularly in the drilling sector.
The NESC's reputation transcends nationals of Trinidad and Tobago to international students. Through partnerships with organizations in Nigeria, hundreds of nationals have earned NESC certification, adding a valuable human resource in various fields of work in that African nation.
Going to a place where you can do that capital of what you pick or what you study. NESC-wise, they have structured have a brief campus, so whatever you're being taught in the classroom, you have to go outside and do the practical.
Discussions are ongoing for TVET training, knowledge-based sharing, and partnerships with organizations from countries such as Haiti, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Brazil, and the Falkland Islands. The students of the NESC benefit from a holistic campus experience supported by dedicated faculty and staff. The NESC also provides customized technical training solutions to companies across all sectors of the local economy through its business development department. Its highly cross-functional team works with industry clients to develop and market courses and programs to fill their employee skills gaps. The training contributes towards the building of the client's internal competency pool and is reflected in higher levels of efficiency and effectiveness. The NESC has launched thousands of careers since its inception in 1997. It looks towards the future with a focus on continuous improvement of its programs and an emphasis on green technology and environmental remediation. The National Energy Skills Center remains committed to providing quality training powered by industry.
Okay, thank you. So now I'm going to share the PowerPoint with you guys. So welcome to the NESC, and we are so happy to have you. Our mission at the NESC is committed to the development of the nation's human capital through technology and advanced teaching and learning methodologies. Our faculty, staff, and students are equipped with the skills and competencies to meet and exceed the needs of the industrial sector. We ensure our well-being by maintaining a culture of excellence, integrity, teamwork, and discipline. We partner with our stakeholders and communities as we create innovative entrepreneurial craftsmen and technical professionals. Our vision: to be the premier technical training provider in the development of a competent, innovative, and entrepreneurial workforce by transforming human capital through the application of advanced experimental learning methodologies. Our core values are commitment, respect, excellence, discipline, integrity, and teamwork. The National Energy Skills Center is a non-profit, government-assisted institution incorporated on July 15, 1997, with the primary purpose of building the human capital in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The NESC, born out of a demand for skilled tradesmen, operates several campuses across Trinidad and Tobago. The NESC offers two-year diploma programs, one-year craftsman programs, along with a number of professional development programs. We have been in the business for over 21 years. We have 7 campuses, and we have trained to date over 21,000 craftsmen. Why choose the NESC? Industry relevance and curricula endorsed by the industry, strong links with the industry mirrored workshops, ISO certified, THTI accredited, international affiliations, successful graduates, availability of jobs in the industry for graduates, higher levels of training and certification, multiple entry points. Some of our corporate partners are Atlantic, Ansa the National Gas Company, Metanex, Massey, Powertrain, to name a few. Some of our international affiliations are the International Association of Drilling Contractors, Red Deer College, Microsoft, the American Welding Society, and Cisco. Student Services Division approach at the NESC. Steadfast, present and committed, effective, prepared to deliver, leader, take charge and be in control, finish, achieve set results on time within budget. In addition to a dedicated student affairs and guidance officers based at each campus, students can enjoy the benefits of having access to guidance counseling, life skills sessions, preparation for the world of work, field trips to leading organizations in their area of study, industry sensitization, medium-sized class numbers to allow for individual attention, review session for exam preparation, assistance with job placement. Our school environment. Safety is a priority at the NESC. We continuously ensure that a safe, comfortable environment conducive to learning is provided for our students. Conducive for our students is provided for our students, including security guards, diligent, committed, and friendly faculty, integration of technology, catering to varying learning styles, well-equipped classrooms, labs, and workshops. Student feedback. Students have the opportunity to provide feedback to our staff through three major avenues. These include: 1, our trainee feedback forms completed by students at least 3 times during their program cycle. 2, the Student Affairs Officer. 3, the NESC Facebook page. Our Marketing and Corporate Communication Department monitor questions and comments on our Facebook page and direct to the relevant individuals for action. At the NESC, we have an open door policy. At the campus, we facilitate Parents' Day, where parents or guardians are free to visit our campuses to be updated on their child's progress. The NESC believes that parents, guardians are our biggest stakeholders in the education process, and we welcome, applaud, and encourage the active interest of parents and guardians. Visits are not restricted to Parents' Day, and the campus managers, student affairs officers, and instructors are available for a discussion with parents on short notice. Our Equal Opportunity Policy Statement. This policy aims to communicate the commitment of the National Energy Skills Center to equal opportunity through the organization's training activities, regardless of gender, marital or civil partnership status, religious belief, political opinion, race, disability, sexual orientation, age. In keeping with the policy of NESC, our minimum age for entry is 16 years and over. Our levels of programs. At the NESC, we offer 3 levels of program. our diploma programs, craftsman program, and our professional development program. Our diploma program, this is our flagship suite of programs. It is a level 3 technician program available in 9 different subject areas. It is GATE approved. The program is offered both on a full-time Monday to Friday as well as on a part-time basis. Duration is 2 years for full-time and 3 years part-time. Some of the courses that are available for our diploma are drilling rig operations, automotive services, heavy equipment, millwright, welder, electrician, refrigeration and air condition, fabricator, boiler maker, information technology network specialist. Certification for the diploma program. Students can obtain 3 certificates from our single diploma programs. The National Energy Skills Center diploma has 3 forms of certification. The NESC diploma, which is equal to 150 credits. The NESC journeyman equals to 150 credits plus 1640 industry hours in the related field. Red Deer College Trades Professional Certificate equals 150 credits plus 1640 industry hours plus 2 RDC practical assessments. Our craftsman program, a level 2 technician program that is offered for 1 year. Upon completion, graduates are awarded a certificate of competency. Some of our craftsman programs that are offered at the NESC are rig mechanic, automotive services, welding, domestic electrician, air condition and refrigeration, pipe fitting and fabrication, machine shop, plumbing, and autotronics. Benefits of attending NESC: building careers, development of well-rounded students, use of technology, promoting creativity and leadership, providing industry linkages, promoting entrepreneurship, assistance with job placement. When can I apply? Applications are open for our September 2021 intake from May to August. We also facilitate professional development programs throughout the year. So be sure to keep updated on our current offerings such as basic car care, Microsoft Word, introduction to cybersecurity, valve servicing and installation, pipe fitting and fabrication, to name a few. Tuition fee. All our diploma programs are GATE funded, which are still subject to a means assessment. Our year-long craftsman program was $8,300, but due to COVID, we have reduced the fee to $5,300. Our professional development programs vary in price, beginning as low as $395. And at the NESC, there's always a payment plan available to assist some of our students. What is required for registration? Completed application form, original birth certificate and copy, national ID, or your passport, or even driver's permit, and a copy. 1 passport size photo, medical certificate of fitness, academic certificates and copies, must be able to pass a drug test, e-GATE ID, and a registration fee of $300. Upon successful completion of our programs, a graduation ceremony is held. Our students, their family, friends, faculty, management, and other stakeholders can acknowledge and celebrate the hard work, commitment, and perseverance of the students. In true essence of a family, we all share in their joy, pride, and excitement. Even after graduation, we maintain contact to follow up on job placement for our graduates. Any questions thus far? So now I'm going to show a video of a day in the life of NESC. So I am open for any questions.
Okay, students, so remember, you could send your questions live on the chat, or you can send them to any one of the WhatsApp numbers that we would have shared with you at the beginning. So, Ms. David, I have a question from a student. He wants to know, what subjects do you need to be accepted into NESC?
Well, the entry requirements is three CSEC passes, but we do encourage students to get maths and English.
What happens in the event that a student wants to come in, but they don't have maths or English?
They will do an interview with the students. An interview is set up.
Hi, Ms. David. Could you speak about the craftsmanship program that you all offer?
Okay, the Craftsman program is a lower level program to the diploma program. So someone who doesn't have any CSEC passes, they can join this program first before moving on to the diploma program. So it's like a bridging program.
Ms. David, do you all accept students who may be in Form 3 and 16 into the Craftsman program?
No, we encourage students to finish secondary school first.
A student wants to know if students at NESC get stipend.
If what?
If students who attend NESC get a stipend.
Oh, no, they don't.
A student wants to know about the duration of your courses.
Our diploma programs are for 2 years full-time, 3 years part-time. Our Craftsman program are for 1 year, approximately 9 months.
Ms. David, could you make mention to the various locations of all the schools?
We have at Point Lisa, St. Madeleine, Woodford Lodge, which is based in Chaguanas, as well as we have a campus at Tobago, in Tobago.
And could you tell us a little bit about the Drilling Academy?
Our Drilling Academy that is located in St. Madeleine, and we run drilling rig operations. We actually have a rig on the compound, so they can get first-hand training on the rig.
A student wants to know if he wants to attend NESC but isn't capable of meeting the financial requirements.
Our diploma program is GATE approved. Hello?
Yes.
Right.
Someone else.
Program is GATE approved, as well as we have payment plans available.
Someone else wants to know if somebody who attended only Serval can be accepted.
Yes. Based on the trade that they study at Serval, we will do an interview and assess them, and they will make an arrangement for them to enter our program.
So, Ms. David, I know you mentioned international recognition. Could you tell our students about that certificate from, I think it's Canada?
RDC. So our certification is from RDC, which is Red Deer College. They are based in Alberta, Canada. So all our exams, they come from Alberta, Canada, from RDC College.
Okay, so therefore, students will need to actually complete their diploma to gain that additional certificate.
Yes, but however, the same diploma exams are the RDC exams. So they just have an additional part. When you complete the 150 credits, you do your job training and you do 2 practical assessments from RDC.
So students are wondering if you can explain what gate approval means.
So gate approval is the government paying for tuition. However, gate, you are subject to a means test in which, based on your parents or your family income, you'll be assessed, and then they will tell you how much you are qualified for, whether you are qualified for 100% funding, 75%, or 50% funding.
A student wants to know if there are any IT courses offered.
Yes, we have information technology network specialists. That is a 2-year diploma program as well.
So I know the courses was shown in the presentation, but just for the students' interest, could you just verbally go over all the courses being offered?
Okay, so we have welding, we have fabricator, boiler maker, heavy equipment technician, information technology network specialist. We have drilling rig operation, we have millwright, we have air condition and refrigeration, automotive services.
Someone wants to know if the NESC diploma or the RDC diploma can help you on the road to becoming a mechanical engineer.
Yes, it can.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so yes, so you've gotten quite a bit of information from Ms. David about the National Energy Skills Center and some of the programs that they offer and how you are part of the staff of student support students, more specifically our Form 3s. We really want to thank you for taking the time this afternoon to come to share some information with us. I hope, the Form 3s, their interest has been piqued. And for those of you who may not have been aware of NESC or may not have been aware of some of their programs, you are now interested or are thinking about it or will consider them in the future. So, Ms. David, once more, we thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, so folks, we have one more session for you. And so we're going to take a quick 5-minute break and we're going to come back and we're going to have our last session of this virtual career fair. So see you in a short. folks, so welcome back to session of our virtual career fair 2021. And this afternoon, we have with us Ms. Malika McIntosh from the National Training Agency, and she's here to share with you some information that's really, really important and critical for you all at this point in time in your secondary school life. So, Ms. McIntosh, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Just give me a minute to get the presentation up. All right. So good afternoon to all those who are with us, students and guidance officers alike. Like Miss Joseph said, I am Malika McIntosh, and I work with the National Training Agency. And this afternoon, we are going to go through career development, and the specific topic that we are looking at for the Form 3s is choosing your subjects. All right, so this is actually the first step in your career development journey, students. So we hope to provide you with some tips and pointers this afternoon. Now, I know this is your last session for today, and so we want to go through each slide briefly and provide as much information as we can in the time that is allotted. So like I said, the National Training Agency, anytime you hear NTA, you want to keep your ears open for TechVoc, technical and vocational education and training. If you hear the term or the letters CVQ, know that the NTA is also in the background of that. So basically, the NTA is a larger organization that oversees TechVoc, CVQ, or what we call TVET in Trinidad and Tobago. All right, so at your level, secondary school level, you would more so hear TechVoc and also CVQ subjects. So keep your ears open for that, and also know that the NTA is in the background of those terms. Today, however, the NTA is here to serve you with some career guidance. All right, so we have a unit called the Jobs and Career Guidance Unit, of which I am a part, and we provide you with career development info. So this afternoon, our session, the objectives of this session, we have 3, and we want to make you aware of the relationship between your subject choices and your career path. Also, we want to provide you with useful information for making informed decisions about your subjects, and we want to also outline some key steps for your subject and also your career selection processes. Okay, so let us jump right in this afternoon. So make the connection. That's one of the first things that we want to make you aware of. When you are going to choose your subjects, it is not just a decision for secondary school. The subject selection actually will go with you way beyond your secondary school life. So this is not just up until Form 5. It's going to go with you after CXC, after CAPE, into your tertiary education, even your skill training, and then into the world of work where your subjects would become requirements, and ultimately they shape or determine your career goals. All right, so one of the key things that we want to make clear early on is that subject selection. What you are going to do in Form 3, choose those subjects. That's not just for secondary school. So it's an important decision, critical to your career development. So as we are getting started, warming up really, here's a few things that you always want to consider before you dive into subject selection. You must know what subjects are available at your secondary school. You should know which subjects are compulsory. I've been to schools where not only math and English are compulsory, but sometimes English literature, sometimes a language, sometimes a CVQ subject as well. So know what's compulsory. Also, you should have a fairly good idea of the subjects that you excel in. And if you think you don't know, I assure you, your subject teachers will know. All right, so note what you excel in. And also be able to identify what you need for further study. So all of these sessions that you would have sat through for your career fair, you would have been given information about which subjects are required for certain careers or probably for certain degree programs at different institutions. That's important information because that can also inform your subject choice. So those are 4 things that you want to consider upfront. And then you have to be mindful of what we call the subject groupings. Okay, so each group or each subject group would comprise of a core set of subjects that link to various career streams. So you will be given some sort of document that will highlight all of the subject groups or subject classes. So your school might have a science class, there might be a social studies class, or rather not a social studies class, but a modern studies class, which includes social studies, or you may have the visual and performing arts group, etc. All right, so you need to know how the subjects are grouped at your secondary school. Not all schools have the same exact subject grouping, so it's important that you inquire at your particular school. All right, this also will help you to note which subjects may not be available at your secondary school. And this is important for you to note. Either you may have to do that subject privately or you may choose an alternative. So you want to consider these subject groups carefully and also talk to your subject teachers or deans about it. So this is a sample subject group. Well, a sample of the subject groupings rather. So you have the science stream, there's business, there's modern studies, you have languages, etc. Now this is just for one school, all right? Each school may have it entirely different. What's important is that you want to find out, is it possible some students may want to do science, but they may want to do one business subject? Or they may be doing business, but they also want to do one science subject. So these are the things that you're going to talk to either your subject teachers or your dean about in terms of mixing the subject groupings and to what extent that can be done. All right, so pay attention to the subject groupings. I know some schools have different names for them. They may be called a line or a subject class, etc. So pay attention to that as well. So the National Training Agency, being the organization that implements the CVQ in secondary schools program, we would obviously want to talk to you about the benefits of choosing a TechVoc or a CVQ subject. All right, so the CVQ, which is the Caribbean Vocational Qualification Certificate, is simply an award that represents the achievement of a certain set of competencies in a particular field. So that field might be cosmetology. In secondary school, it could be things like data processing. It might be woodwork, electrical installation. Some schools have food and nutrition, all right, culinary arts and things like that. So any skill area that your school has available for you most likely falls under the CVQ arena. And so it's a great opportunity if your school does offer CVQ subjects that you have to tap into. All right, and we want to highlight some of the benefits. Okay, so before I do that, these are some of the TechVoc subjects that you may find at your secondary school. Not all secondary schools have the same subject areas. Some secondary schools do not even offer TechVoc subject areas or CVQ subjects. Okay, so this is why I'm saying if your school does in fact offer these subject areas, you are at an advantage. You have an additional benefit at your school as well. All right, so you see things like the data operations, there's fabric design, garment production, photography, graphic design, welding, all of these things are CVQ subject areas. So if you don't yet know whether your school has CVQ subjects or which areas CVQ subjects are offered at your school, now is the time to find out about that, okay? Because we want you to choose a CVQ subject along with your traditional subject areas. And here's why. So when you choose a CVQ, you complete that training in the secondary school system, you are going to be awarded that certificate, all right? And this certificate provides you with the opportunity to be certified. One, it enhances your employability, all right? So now you have your academic and traditional certificate, your CSEC certificate, but you also have a skill training certificate as well, okay? So that's an enhanced certificate, or like I'm saying, it enhances your employability, makes you look good when you're going out into the world of work, that you also have some skill training on your side. Now, it's also providing you with an alternative route to higher education. So you don't necessarily have to tap into the avenues of UTT or UE or USC. You don't necessarily have to go on to do a 3-year or a 5-year degree program, but you have other institutions, skill training institutions like the NESC, MIC, YTEP. Those institutions now, from the CVQ in school, you can go right into one of those institutions and continue with your education. So it's an alternative route that you can take to higher education. Remember that this CVQ certificate is on parallel standing with your academic qualifications. So sometimes you will hear people say, well, you know, it's not the same thing as having your CSEC certificate. It's lesser, or, you know, it's not valuable. And that is an error, okay? Don't let anyone tell you that your CVQ certificate is less than. It is on the same standing, parallel standing with your CSEC certificate, all right? It also affords you real world of work experience. So just the same functions or activities that you would perform in the world of work in that particular area, you get to do that as a part of the training. That's how you learn. It's practical in nature and quite hands-on, all right? So you get that experience in a skill training area. You also have the opportunity to earn more money. Persons who have skill sets, especially in times like these, where people are either being cut from jobs or experiencing salary cuts, they have the opportunity and the advantage in that they can create an income of their own. A lot of persons with skill sets tend to become entrepreneurs, all right? So you have the opportunity to earn more money. Remember that this certificate is recognized and it's portable throughout CARICOM. So that means you can move outside of Trinidad and Tobago and utilize this certificate as well. So this is just a reminder and a visual really that shows you that all of your subject groupings are actually linked to various careers. All right, so we see science, there's business, there's modern studies, the tech voc and the visual and performing arts as well. And for each subject group, there's a certain set of careers linked to it. So like I said before, your subject choices, it's not only about getting secondary school with, you know, over and done with. It is going to go with you well into your future, all right? So if you do sciences, Of course, there's a certain set of careers that you are now open to, similarly with business and modern studies and so forth. What happens very often is that sometimes we want to switch later on. We want to make a career switch. And it is not impossible to do that, but we want to make students aware that it may be a little bit difficult depending on the stream of subjects that you have. So for example, science students can often jump across into business or into modern studies, etc., at the university level quite fluidly, all right? They may not have to go back and do any CXC subjects or anything like that. They can switch over easily. However, a business student, if you decide later on you want to do, let's say, a medical degree, you will most likely be required to either acquire your science subjects or do what we call prerequisite courses at the university level. All right, and we are not discouraging anyone from doing so, but just be mindful that when we make the switch, it's going to cost us some time and most likely some extra money. So this is why we want to sit and think carefully about the subjects and the type of careers that they are linked to later on. So we want to go through a few steps with you, and there are 4 of them. All right, I want to jump directly into those steps. So the first one is to engage in self-assessment. All right, and this is basically getting to know yourself better, identify your strengths, your weaknesses, especially as it regards the subject areas. One of the first things that you want to do is identify where you are strong and where you might be weak. Understand that sometimes the weak areas may be either compulsory subjects or subjects that you need for your future. And so anytime you identify a weakness, remember it's an opportunity to turn it into a strength. Also identify your likes, your dislikes, okay? This can also inform career decisions. Career decisions are always linked right back to your subject choices. So it's important to start thinking about those things now as well. Think about the courses and activities that you enjoy. So sometimes we think subjects such as the math and English, traditional areas, but we forget the dance, we forget the visual arts, we forget art, we forget sports. You know, all of those things can also determine subject choices for us. So if it is that you enjoy the sporting arena or such activities, you might be able to look to probably do physical education as one of your subject areas. You might choose a science, okay, because later on you can see yourself engaging probably in physical therapy as a diploma or a degree, etc. All right, so think about the activities as well. Think about yourself as an individual, all right, how you process, how you take in information, how you study, your personality type, all of these things, your skills, your values, your talents, all of these are part of your self-assessment. So one of the things that you can do some sort of personality test. You can do a career assessment as well, which would help you identify which careers suit who you are. And you can also now link those careers to the subjects that are available to you. Your next step is to do your research. Now, students often say when asked, what would you like to do later on? And they say, Miss, I don't know. And what we have discovered is that it's not that they don't know, but rather they have a lot of ideas, a lot of different careers that might interest them. So what we suggest that you do is make a list. Now get that list down on paper. All of the careers that you are considering, write them down. And here's what you want to discover. Here's what you want to research. First and foremost, anytime you are thinking about careers, you must think subjects. So you have to now identify what subjects are required for each of the careers that you are thinking about. What skills are required for those careers? Is tertiary education required? Sometimes you may not have to have a degree. Maybe it might be skill training. Consider the cost of every program attached to a particular career, and also how long it's going to take you to get to that program, or rather to get to the career that you want for yourself. All right, so sometimes a degree program might be 5 years. Some of us are not willing to go through that 5 years. All right, sometimes the training may very well be more than 2, sometimes 3 years. All right, so these are things that you want to consider. When you have made your list and you've done all the research, you want to then compare. All right, so you make your comparisons, and often students are able to narrow down their career choices and subject choices based on the research that they have done. Okay, so you will now have a better idea of what interests you career-wise, and also with regards to the subjects that you have to choose. So step number 3, you want to complete a gap analysis. And what does that mean? A gap analysis is going to help you examine your current performance and your desired or expected performance. All right, so you are going to have to take a good long look, an honest look at where you are now in terms of the subjects that you are doing and where you need to be. All right, so if you have a, let's say a 65 average pass or grade, you want to get to something like a 95, you are going to have to look at the gap that is there and then also fill that gap. You have to implement methods or measures that is going to get you to where you want to be. This might require you having a sit-down talk with your form teacher or your subject teachers about your performance. I know when it comes time to choosing your subjects, that type of discussion is actually necessary. From Form 1 to 3, you would have been exposed to most of the subjects that are available to you. And now, based on the grades that you would have acquired over that period of time, you might want to do one thing, but based on the performance thus far, you may only be allowed to do something else. All right, so you have to have that discussion with your teachers about your performance and what can be done to either help you get into a particular class or help you improve so that you can get to where you would want your performance to be. And step number 4, you have to create an action plan. And an action plan operates similarly to a map. All right, so we tell students a map is going to give you a sense of direction. It's going to help you identify what's next for you. So of course you want to get this down on paper, and it simply means you are going to identify your goals as a student. So you all are in Form 3, you have an exam in Form 3, the NCSC exam. I'm not sure if you all are still doing it during COVID, but if so, that might be the first goal on your action plan. That's one hurdle you want to get over. The next would be Form 5, where you have your CSEC examinations. And for those of us who are going on to Form 6, you have CAPE examinations that will follow. All right, so all of these things can go on your action plan, but it's not just called plan, or rather it has the key word in it, action. So after you've written down your goals, for each goal, you must place some action behind it. You're going to have to state how you are going to achieve that goal. All right, so things like you might want to indicate extra hour of study each day. You might have extra lessons. You might indicate past papers. Those are actions that you can place behind the goals so that you can actually achieve them. All right, so whatever actions you are going to implement, you also have to place that on your plan. Now, we want to encourage you that every time you achieve a goal, every time you achieve some small action, you can go right ahead, tick that off, and reward yourself. It might be a small reward, but it's going to keep you motivated. All right, so it might mean you get a Starbucks, or you might probably watch a movie. Okay, those are small rewards that can help you keep going. So now that you have your plan down on paper, you can make it as individualized, as specific as you want it, as pretty, as creative. All right, you can use pictures, all of those things, but it means that it is there for you to go back to. It's something that you can revisit, you can review, and you can revise. So anytime you have any sort of changes to make, you can go back to it and make those changes. As opposed to if you don't have a plan, there's nothing to refer to. So we always advise that you have a plan. So those are the 4 steps that you want to take. Okay, you are going to get to know yourself better, do some assessments, your career assessments, you can do a personality test, all of those things pointing to who you are as an individual. Number 2, you have to do your research. If you are thinking about certain careers, these things are going to help you determine subject areas that are important for those careers. So do your research. Also, your gap analysis, which is going to take a look at where you are now and your performance, what it needs to be, and how you are going to get there. And finally, you are going to create that action plan. So you're going to identify your goals and also place the points of action behind them so that you can actually achieve those goals. All right, so those are your 4 steps. And these are some bonus tips. So when you are planning, all right, you have certain careers in mind. You are aware of the subject areas you need to get. You know that you have to raise your grades, etc. You want to be specific, all right, when it comes to setting the goals. So rather, you want to be smart. So SMART means or indicates that you want your goals to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and also time-based. As students, when we say make your goal specific, it means be precise as possible. So you have no choice. You have to choose a certain set of subjects. All right, that is quite specific. You don't get to do all, you don't get to do some now, some later, change your mind in Form 5. It's not recommended that you do it like that. And so this is why you have the opportunity now to be quite specific by choosing a certain set of subjects. Of course, your goal is measurable because your progress is continually quantified by exams, past papers, and so forth. Make sure they are attainable. So you may look across and see one of your colleagues choosing 10 subjects. However, you are at 7. All right, maybe you've just chosen 5 subjects, and that is okay. You need to know what is attainable for you as an individual. This is something you can talk to your form teachers about in terms of how many subjects you can actually handle, what's a good subject load for you. Make sure your goals are relevant. It means that it should matter to you. Yes, we have parents and we have persons that we may look up to who are guiding us, but ultimately what you choose should matter to you. You should enjoy it. You should want to pursue these areas. And so it may give you a better chance at excelling. All right, so make sure whatever goals you have in mind, make sure they are relevant. And also they must be time bound. Again, as students, we are set with the time bound because we only have so much time to achieve those subject areas, to choose those subject areas, and also acquire them at the CSEC level. Okay, so here's what you do not want to do. Remember, when you are choosing your subjects, don't choose your subjects based on your friends. I know you've been in the same class for the last 3 years. You cannot make your decisions based on what your friends are doing. You have to make that decision as an individual. Do not exclude a subject because you don't like the teacher. Miss does mark too hard. Miss have an attitude. I don't like Miss. Miss don't like me. That's not the point. That subject may very well be necessary for your future. So you want to make your choices in a mature manner, all right? Forget the teacher. Try as best as is possible to keep agreeable relationships with your teachers and your colleagues so that you can excel in the areas that are necessary for you. And finally, do not exclude a subject because you think it is too difficult. In the very beginning, I told you when we identify weaknesses, they are only opportunities for us to turn them into strengths. All right, so these are your don'ts, students, and we are winding down now. Of course, if you still need assistance, you have questions about a particular career or subjects that are needed, you can go to your teachers, you have your guidance officers. Here at the National Training Agency, the career guidance officer is willing, ready to assist you with any questions that you may have. And of course, the person who is in the profession that you would like to one day be in, that's an excellent individual to talk to. You have your parents as well for guidance. So ask more questions, ask as many questions as you need to. All right, so just before we take the questions this afternoon, let me leave it here. I'll leave it here so that the contact information for the National Training Agency will be up. You can reach out to us via telephone. We are at 672-7107. Find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and you can go to our YouTube channel to view presentations just like this one. And you can email us as well if you have any questions at all. All right, so I want to say thank you this afternoon for listening, and I open the floor at this point for any questions that you may have.
Okay, so students, the floor is open to you to ask the questions that you want to ask of the National Training Agency. So you can use the live chat or you can use the WhatsApp numbers that we shared with you.
So good day. A student is asking if she has to do modern studies to get into the field of teaching.
Okay, so just 1 second. All right, so as far as I am aware, there are full degree programs that can be done in education for teachers. I do believe if you are going into teaching for a specific subject area, then you will have to have that subject at the CXC level, all right? And some persons will go on to do that subject at the university level as well, all right? So modern studies, the subject grouping usually involves social studies, history, English literature, and so forth. If those are one of the areas that you are looking at, then yes, it's absolutely fine to do so. But as long as you have your math and English as the subject area that you would like to teach at the CXC level, well, a full CXC certificate, then you can go on to do the education for teachers at whichever level, either primary school, secondary school, at one of the universities. Any other questions?
All right, so a student is asking, what subjects, or sorry, what is your job and what subjects did you pursue?
Okay, I've gotten this question a couple of times, and I am a career guidance officer here at the National Training Agency. In my portfolio, I talk to students like you, and I also counsel students career-wise as well. To do this particular job, I would have studied psychology at a first degree level, at a bachelor's level, and then psychology at the master's level with an emphasis in school counseling. All right, so counseling, school counseling, that's the emphasis, psychology at a master's level. All right, so both bachelor degree and a master's degree in psychology with the emphasis in school counseling. All right, so if you are thinking about the subject areas at the secondary school level, you can go ahead and do sciences along, or probably modern studies as well. Modern studies is usually a good fit, but if you do sciences, you will not be excluded. All right, you can also get into a university that offers psychology as a degree program.
Somebody wants to know, Ms. McIntosh, what made you want to get into this job?
Well, students, I would have made a career switch. I would have started out in sciences as a secondary school student, straight sciences. I didn't do any modern studies or anything like that. And I would have also gone on to do a first degree in sciences as well. And because, well, we are aware, because we have such a small pool in terms of the job pool or the job market for sciences. So you hear about scientists and you hear about the lab technicians and all of these different things, but the pool is quite small in Trinidad and Tobago. So unless you want to migrate and go into go into teaching, lecturing, etc., I thought it best to make the switch, to look at something else. And I also would have pursued psychology, which is totally different, but was another love that I had. I liked the area. It is quite interesting, working with people, which is something that I always wanted to do. And secondary school students are also a quite interesting bunch. So yes, this is where I would have found myself, and the opportunity presented itself as well. And I just continued to grow. All right, so it's a nice area. It's something that I am passionate about. And when you find your passion, when you discover it, you might stumble upon it one day, but when you do discover it, you just continue to grow and enjoy.
Okay, are there any other questions, ladies and gentlemen?
All right, so I'm seeing a student is asking, what subjects would you recommend that someone pursues if they would like to get into interior decorating?
Ooh, so with the areas like interior decorating, event planning, and things like that, there's not really a prescribed set of subjects for you, but rather it would become the training that goes behind it. So there are a lot of skill training institutions that you can tap into. I know for sure YTEP has the interior design, the events planning, and so forth that you can do. You may be able to do a certificate program in. When it comes to the events planning, I know Arthur Lockjack, they also have a program as well. But it's something, it's a skill set. And it also has to have, you also have to have the passion to do so. The subject areas may not matter as much. However, because you are tapping into one, these skill sets, and then two, most likely you will become an entrepreneur, you should also have some business acumen, right? So you want to have some business subjects under your belt, because when you start up your own business, you want the know-how as well. All right, how to manage, how to do your finances, etc. But these are also areas, if you do not do business, you can be trained for as well. All right, so what I would recommend is that you choose subjects that would help you with the business side of things. You choose subjects that you currently excel in, and of course, the ones that are compulsory, make sure you have a full CXC certificate, and then you do the training for the necessary, for the field that you are interested in. So the interior design, you can do your courses in that afterward. All right, so there are short courses, there isn't any degree program per se, but you can do a certificate in the interior design area. So it's not so much about the subject areas, and that is not to say you don't have to pay attention to your subjects now. You do. What's important though is the skill training that you will acquire afterward. The subject areas will become your foundation. They are your foundation for everything else. All right, so focus on those now, do the training afterward.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, it's about 2 minutes to 4. And so at this point in time, Ms. McIntosh has all NTA's contact information on the screen. And I'm sure if you all have, etc. All right, so Ms. McIntosh, on behalf of the staff of Student Support Services, the students of the Victoria Education District, the Form 3s, we want to tell you thank you and express our appreciation for your taking the time to come share some information with us this evening.
You're welcome. We were happy to be here with you all this afternoon. The NTA is really pleased to work with the students and to provide the information as well. All right, so we want to wish the students all the best as well in all of their endeavors going forward.
Okay, thank you. All right, guys, before you all leave, just a reminder to fill out the test survey, the post-test survey you all would see the link on the live stream. So that just gives us some feedback for if and when we have to do this again, how to make it better for you all. So please just take a couple minutes and fill out the post-test survey before you log off. All right? But we want to thank you for the pleasure of your company for the past 4 days. I hope you all learned a lot. I hope you all got information that you all would build into your decisions moving into Form 4. I hope you all got information that would pique your interest in some areas, information that you all would have gotten about programs and careers you may not have known about before. And so we hope you put all of that to best use as you move forward into Form 4. But we thank you for joining us for the past 4 days, and we look forward as your guidance officers to seeing you and interacting with you in school.